The final type of tricky equation we are going to talk about, I call equations with parentheses, and that's because most of the time they do have parentheses in them. And these are equations that will need to be simplified down a little bit on one of the sides before you start solving. So if I look at the problems that are coming up, I see scenarios where I'm going to need to distribute and combine like terms before I solve. So that's our plan. That's the trick. So let's check it out with a few examples. So in number 5, I see a number outside of a set of parentheses. So I know that that means distribute. That means multiply this number outside with my numbers inside. So 2 times 3x will be 6x, and 2 times 1 will be 2, and that equals 20. Once I've done that step, this looks like an equation I'm used to solving. So I'll go through and I'll solve it. I'll drop the line down for my equal sign, and then I'll look at what's happening to x. I see times 6 and add 2, and I'll do the opposite. Divide 6, subtract 2. I'll subtract 2 first from both sides because that is what SADMEP is. Those cancel out. I'm left with 6x equals 20 minus 2 is 18. Next, I'll divide by 6 on both sides of my equation. The 6 and the 6 cancel out here, and I'm left with x equals 3. Because this is a challenging equation, I'm going to do a quick check here at the bottom. I'll plug in 2 times 3 times my number plus 1 should equal 20. So 2 times 3 times 3 was my answer. Should equal 20. I know I should start inside the parentheses. 3 times 3 is 9. Plus 1 times 2. 9 plus 1 is 10 times 2. That's 20. I got it right. Pause me for a second and try the second one. You might be surprised by the answer you get, but I will meet you back there in a second. So if you've tried this next one, you're ready to continue on number 6. So in number 6, I have 3 times x plus 2 equals 6. So I look through and I see there are some parentheses, which means distribute. Oh, there's nothing in front of that x, so maybe I'll add a 1 to it. 3 times 1x is 3x. 3 times 2 is 6, and that should equal 6. Once I have this solved back to a 2-step equation, 2 directions to do, I'm ready to solve it. So it looks like I'm used to. I'll drop that line down for my equal sign. I identify the 2 things happening here. So I see a times 3 and I see an add 6. I'll do the opposite. Minus 6 divide by 3. I'll start from subtracting 6 from both sides. Well, these 6's cancel out. Plus 6 minus 6 cancels to leave me with 3x. And on the right-hand side, I have 6 minus 6 is also 0. Maybe you're shocked you've seen a 0. I don't think we've seen one so far, but that's okay. I'm going to keep going. I haven't finished my steps yet. So I need to divide both sides by 3. When I do that, 3 divided by 3 is 1, so I'm left with 1x equals 0/3. Well, the number 0 over a number is okay and is equal to 0. So I get that my answer for x has to equal 0. I'm going to check that in my equation. 0 is a number. 0 can be an answer to an equation. And sometimes it happens. So let's see what happens. If I plug in 0 as x, my parentheses, I get 2. And 2 times 3 is 6. So 0 is the only value that would work. I will see you on the other side for another video.